due to the failure to isolate the RWCU system of Unit 2 reactor caused by the welding rupture of downstream pipeline of BP HV125, the power plant went into alert emergency status.
Roger that. We will set up TSC right away.
Roger. Activate the emergency response mechanism.
The Nuclear Safety Duty Center has received a fax notification regarding an accident at Kaohsiung Nuclear Power Plant. Please keep us up to date on any developments. The 2020 nuclear emergency exercise was divided into two parts, tabletop exercise and a field exercise. These were carried out interdepartmentally throughout the central government, cross-regionally between local governments, and included civilian-military cooperation. Resembling the battle against COVID-19, all groups need to work together in their response to a nuclear accident to ensure the safety of the public. Keeping response personnel on high alert is one of the goals of the Atomic Energy Council. Accordingly, the AEC conducted an unannounced mobilization test of the response team of the Kaohsiung NPP on August 30th. All team members were able to return to launch the Emergency Response Center. Simulating a complex disaster, including the magnitude 6.3 earthquake hits the northeastern tip of Taiwan, and then a nuclear accident occurring at the Kaohsiung NPP during the COVID-19 pandemic, the response personnel used various procedures to quickly replenish water and power supplies, and implementing the ultimate response guidelines to prevent from deteriorating. Upon receiving a request for support from Kaohsiung Power Plant, Taipower immediately dispatched personnel and equipment from its headquarters and from Qinshan NPP to help in the emergency effort. The normal water supply in the plant is estimated to be exhausted within 3 days, therefore putting the number 2 gate of the flood drainage channel down to store water. The use of multiple backup power supplies was recommended, including bringing in a 480-volt mobile diesel generator and a 4.16 kV power vehicle to provide electricity for safety-related equipment. During the rescue process, staff of Kaohsiung Power Plant were injured and may have experienced radiation contamination. After emergency treatment on the scene, they were transferred to Keelung Changung Hospital. By now, disaster response centers at all levels of government have been set up. Advanced deployment includes closing the beach and amusement facilities. Police and firefighters, along with broadcasting from unmanned aerial vehicles, urged visitors to leave as soon as possible. Because Kaohsiung Power Plant had abnormal accident happen, visitors at the scene are requested to follow the instructions to evacuate as soon as possible. Thermal imaging technology was used to ensure no visitors stayed in these areas. In response to a number of earthquakes in the Shilin district, the Taipei city government dispatched special functional rescue equipment and multifunctional environmental quality monitoring vehicle to monitor the activities of the Datun volcano group and to monitor radiation levels through a radiation and disaster integration network that was jointly developed by the AEC and the NCDR. Because the accident was not effectively controlled, the site area emergency was confirmed. Both central and local emergency response centers have been upgraded to highest level. Nuclear accident alerts were issued, and public protection actions were carried out accordingly. The nuclear accident alerts were issued to the emergency planning zone. The disaster prevention cell broadcast service, local base service, local phones, etc. were used to release relevant information to the public. Information was also broadcast through police broadcasting service. In the 2020 nuclear emergency exercise, the nuclear accident alerts will be issued in Wanli District, Jinshan District, and Shimin District in New Taipei City at 10:15 a.m. Please cooperate with the traffic control when passing through the areas where the exercise takes place. And Civil Defense Broadcasting System. Because of Kaohsiung Power Plant had abnormal accident happened, there may be radiation release. People are requested to take shelter in houses as soon as possible and through line chat groups in New Taipei City Government and Keelung City Government. The local government assisted people in the EPZ to take shelter in houses. Iodine tablets and disaster resource were be allocated. The evacuation of people undergoing home quarantine by COVID-19 shall take epidemic prevention taxis for evacuation. Students and residents of care institutions within the EPZ were given priority evacuation while ensuring their care and safety. Because of losses of on-site and off-site AC power at the Kaohsiung MPP for more than 4 hours, the emergency status was raised up to the general emergency. The local government began implementing precaution evacuation for people within the 3 kilometer of the emergency planning zone. Even if there is no radiation release, this area is suffering high risk of radiation exposure. Traffic control shall be enacted at junctions of the evacuation route in accordance with the principle of allowed out but not allowed in. Although no radiation was released to the environment, contamination screening station was be established in advance with radiation detectors in place. People or vehicles that could have been contaminated with radioactive dust were required to go through the detectors. Decontamination was available as necessary. People who were evacuated from the impact area were sent to a reception center at the Sanchong District Stadium complex, set up by the new Taipei city government. A large amount of supply resource has been put in place at the reception center. During the COVID-19 pandemic, each evacuee before entering the reception center must pass through the infrared thermal imaging camera to measure their body temperature, and then pass through the radiation detector. An isolation area for follow-up testing was set up for evacuees who exceeded the body temperature limit. The reception center also paid special attention to the friendly environment for disadvantaged minorities and psychological consultation for evacuee. Many volunteer groups came to assist the running of reception center, such as National Yanming University assisted in the radiation consultation to keep the public calm. The Southern Radiation Monitoring and Dose Assessment Center and the Central Chemical Army has dispatched personnel and device to joint the operation of radiation detection. In addition to the established fixed radiation stations, 18 mobile detectors were set up to the designated locations. The Radiation Monitoring and Dose Assessment Center oversaw land radiation detection within 8 kilometers, while the military oversaw radiation within the area from 8 kilometers to 16 kilometers. The real-time monitoring system was found malfunctioning. Responder went promptly and repaired the system back to normal. With the assistance of the Coast Guard Administration, experts began conducting radiation detection in the surrounding seas of Wanli Fishing Harbor. National Airborne Service Corps assisted in the aerial radiation detection over a wide-range area, and UAVs were called in to carry out detailed radiation detection in those areas. The backup laboratory assisted in radiation analysis of samples from agriculture, forestry, and fisheries. Routine training and preparedness for the response team is necessary for any exercise to be conducted. The organization of the tabletop exercise and the field exercise also play an important role.
最主要还是要提高核安的风险意识，就是核电厂的工作人员一定要随时保有这个危机意识，确保。
There is no best, only better preparedness and better plans. Thanks to all participants for joining the 2020 Nuclear Emergency Exercise. We will continue to do our best to ensure nuclear safety. The Atomic Energy Council will absolutely continue to stand with you in all respects regarding nuclear safety. Thank you for watching this video.